family, join me. Let's decorate this cake from the scratch. For the buttercream used in crumb coating our cake, I used 150 grams of margarine to 400 grams of icing sugar. And then you can use your spatula to mix it. Now it was a little bit thick, so I added just a drop of water, but let's say 1 teaspoon of water. Now this consistency is just right for my crumb coating of the cake. Now having done that, set it aside, got my clean cake board on which I'll be decorating the cake and delivering. Now as usual, our new hack of using glucose is just what you just saw now. It helps the cake to actually stick, and it will not just be turning here and there, compared to when you use just buttercream on the board. Now I've gone ahead, this is the first layer of the down tier. It's actually a 2-tier cake, as you saw from the beginning. Then what I did is got a serrated knife and trimmed off the domes. You want to do that because when you are making fondant cake, it's very, very important that you trim. Trimming is important. It is important because it gives your cake structure. It will give the final decoration structure. You find that it will not be lopsided, one part will not be bent, and the rest of them. And next is applying buttercream in between the cakes. The buttercream helps in holding the 2 cake layers together. And by the way, this is a vanilla marbled cake that I used. Now having assembled them, the next was now properly trimming them. You can use serrated knife, you can use the discs, also called trimming discs, but I don't have trimming discs yet. I've not yet bought it, so I make use of my grater. All you have to do is just walk in circular motion around your cake, and it will give you a very clean and beautiful trimming. Now what you saw me just putting in the cake is the crumbs I cut off earlier. I use it to fill those gaping holes. Sincerely, when you are able to fill all, it will just give it a kind of a very beautiful structure, and your fondant will just look good. Now you see, because I didn't have opportunity to turn it, since this is the same board I'll be using, I now got a serrated knife and then trimmed it down so that it will align with the rest of the body. I actually hope I'm making sense. Now, having done this, I started to work on the top, trying to cut off some little excesses. Now, sometimes you check to find out if any part is burnt. It is advisable you just trim it out. Now next, I use a tape. You can use iron tape, the transparent ruler, to measure. I only use this tape only for cake, please. So the essence of measuring is to find out if one side is lopsided, one side is higher. And I realized there was a part like that. So what you see me doing now is I'm trying to trim off that part just a little so that it will give me a level top. As you can see, it is much more leveled than before. Now this is the top layer of that is a smaller cake. I've trimmed both of them, and then you can see how it will look like. Now is the time for the crumb coating. As the name implies, crumb coating is locking up the crumbs that are in the cakes. This will also give your fondant a beautiful finishing. So it's important you get your buttercream and then you go around it. It's usually not that, should I say, very thick, like covering it to be very thick as if you're making a buttercream cake. It's just a light covering that will lock the crumbs up. The crumbs will not be falling. The crumbs will not come out and give a scattered look or one look like that on your fondant. it will make the final look of the fondant to be so beautiful when you are done, so smooth. Now all I'm just doing is just working around it, trying to fill up those parts. When you are all done, you get your smoothener, a scraper rather, and then you just scrape round. Always start with the way you see me doing. Start from the far end, so that way you just turn it without having to stop along the way. You continue, stop along the way. It actually gives you sign of breaking in your on the crumb coating you're doing. And then, so you can see, because this cake is well trimmed, I will not have an issue with sharp edge, because already the cake has sharp edge. I repeated the same crumb coating process for the second cake tier, that is a smaller tier that will be on top. And then I went ahead doing the same thing, trying to crumb coat, make sure crumbs are locked up, and the rest of them. The upper one is actually a size 6 cake layer, is size 6, and I used shallow pans for them. That is why you see it's not as high as some of the ones I usually make. This size 6, 2 layers, and then the bigger cake is size 8, 2 layers too. So I covered the smaller one, that is the smaller cake, with white. And then, since my client did not actually choose a color, and I've been making cakes for her, she doesn't always make choices, so I decided to go for pink. I actually love color pink. So here I'm trying to knead in my fondant, so that color will come out well. And I think I like this particular color. It's a combination of rose pink, a little rose pink, and then baby pink. Now, if you notice, you see that I'm putting a kind of unusual, like too much of corn flour. You see, I ran out of corn flour, so what I'm actually using there is icing sugar. And so that is why you see I'm just using it generously, because I think icing sugar does not actually make your fondant to easily have elephant skin or break. Because sincerely, when I did mean it was corn flour I used, I know the kind of breakage probably I would have experienced. So here I'm done, spreading it, smoothing it, and then I use knife to remove, bust all those hair. You just bust it, and then you use your hand to just touch it. So trying to cover the main cake, I realized it was already dried. I didn't cover it. What I did, I just got water in my hand and just sprinkle. And then after sprinkling lightly, please, just small, then I draped it. Because this is the board and I've already gummed it, I'm not using the panel method. This is the blanket method. You can use it especially if your cake is not that very large and you're a very good expert in covering large cakes with blanket method. But only use it when the cake is not too high or when it's not too wide. So all you have to do is you hold one part of it, you try to open it wide, then with the other hand you pull it down gently, like you just push your hand down gently. Can you see? Yes. Then you push it down, push it down little by little. You're spreading it so that it doesn't like form wrinkle or lap on the other. Then you're using your smoothener intermittently to smoothen it. Try to make sure that the fondant sticks to your crumb coated cake. Here I'm cutting out the excess fondant. It is very useful, please. Now this excess fondant, I don't just throw it away. What I'm trying to do now is to look where the buttercream touched it. I'm cleaning it up so that I can easily use it again. So when there is a stain, if it's not that much, you can easily clean it up. Now this is not panel method, and I needed a sharp edge. So all I did was I got a hard paper. This one used for making cake toppers. This paper cake toppers, the hard one, you just get it, put it by the press, slightly use your other hand to press it. Get your cake smoother, and then just be pushing to close to like the end of the paper. Just continue working around, working around. Don't push too much so that you don't end up pushing out your cake to an extent that the fondant will tear. So you have to do it with care. Then after that, I used my knife to cut out the excess little fondant that I use in creating the sharp edge. And you can see my sharp edge is sharp edging. Abi. So here I'm cutting out the little excess fondant here and there and try to remove them to make sure that my base is just mwah. Now I decided to cover the base of the cake. This fondant is the one that remained. It is the excess one I cut off. So all I did was roll it out, and then I got. Now whenever you're rolling your fondant, please always make sure you're moving it. Always be moving your fondant, because if you don't move it, it will stick to one side. So that is the mold I'll be using. It's a flower mold, and I tell you, it's beautiful. So that is what I opted for. You see, as I'm doing it, I'm also raising it so that it doesn't stick. Sincerely, when the fondant sticks to your surface, sometimes it tears, or you have to knead it all over again. Here I'm applying water on the borders, and then I'm cutting out a little part of the fondant, and then using the long one like this, just be going around as it is moving. You are pushing it to the edge so that it touches the base of the cake, and you're moving gently, you're moving, you're going, you continue until you are done. Here I'm cutting out the excess fondant, and then all the side that is remaining. I used to say that cake is all about creativity. It is all about creativity. You can turn mistakes in cake to become a design, and that is one thing about working with cake, whether fondant or buttercream. And to all the team buttercreams, well done. Team fondant, well done. Wow, yes, and I also want to use this opportunity to say thank you to all my subscribers. Like, I am so grateful for all your great contributions. I mean, I've gotten so many ideas from those of you that comment. I mean, I get to know the reason why some things didn't work out the way I do, and your ideas are just amazing. It has actually made me to become better. Thanks for your support. Thank you for subscribing. God bless you. Those that are always coming back, you're the real MVPs, and I say thank you. Thank you so much. So now, going back to the cake, I'm applying, of course, we need to do well, but this cake was not going too far, and it's not a very tall cake at that. So I just used the skewers. I just trimmed it according to the size of the cake. Got my cardboard, wrapped it with cling film, and then put my central dowel, and then I just pushed it down. And so I'd forgotten to add this glucose. So all I did was just to raise it up and then apply it. So sincerely, I am so grateful. I am grateful for sharing my videos. I am grateful for your liking my videos, for your commenting. I am so grateful. Like sometimes it looks as if, come on, share a dream are the dream. Like so sincerely, sometimes I feel like this is just going the way the channel is just growing. I mean, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to you and you and you. I am so grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you for being my partner in progress. Now, so I finished with our cake. And by the way, one of us commented and told me that anytime there's a gaping hole, look for a cake mold, one of those border cake molds, and then stick to it. You know, bring it out and then stick it round. It will cover that space and then make your cake neater. Thank you so much. Thanks, bro, for that great suggestion. Now, you know me and ribbons. I so much like ribbons. I actually work 9 to 5, so sometimes I see ribbons as my easy escape way. So very convenient for me, and they also add beauty to the cake. Now I just walked around and then did the same pattern for the cake, and you see already it is changing how the cake looks. Yeah, it has added like almost like 20% beauty to the cake. So this ribbon, you can just get it at the cake shop, and then buy a yard or two. Then you just cut by 2 by 3s or anyone, that will be okay. As usual, I always try, if I'm using artificial flowers, I always try to position to see which flower will be better. So all I do is I get that ordinary roses, 100 naira roses, get some of my old flower leaf and just join it together. So now I'm trying to clean off. I did not have vegetable shortening to clean, so all I did was I got my steamer and I steamed it. See how it's shining. The steamer is also a game changer when it dries up, especially for the fact that I used icing sugar. You realize that it will just come out clean, like it cleans off. It leaves later, the outer look will be brighter. Yes, it will be brighter. There will be no trace of white. So I just decided to keep it simple, but I love flowers. I love flowers and I love butterflies too. So that's that. You can see how it all went. So I really want to thank you. The remaining fondant, all I did was tie it up and put it in the freezer. After putting it in my freezer, any day I want to use it, I bring it out, allow it to thaw and use it. So thank you for watching. See you next time.